So what I had to do was break down barriers and showing that women and people of all different backgrounds can contribute equally to the business, make an impact. We want to grow our talents internally, and we take a look at diverse talent with women, the budgets and the people, and making sure that people stay in place. And it shows with our retention rates as well.
Hi, all. Good morning. So today I have someone very special with us who is a boss woman who is known for the work that she's done when it comes to women empowerment. Michelle is a strategic, people-centric HR leader with 20 plus years of experience. She has developed thoughtful human resources programs to train global employees, foster employee engagement, and achieve measurable financial results. Michelle is certainly a boss woman who is known for women empowerment, for the initiatives that she's taken to take women to the next level. Let's welcome Michelle on 10 Minutes of Hiring Wisdom, where she will tell us what it's like to be a boss woman, what she's learned along the way, and how we can learn from her learnings. Hi, Michelle. How are you doing today?
Hi, Manel. How are you? Thank you so much for your time.
Of course. So, Michelle, you've done so much work so far, but I would love to understand your journey in 2 minutes. Can you give us a summary?
Absolutely. I have over 20 years of HR experience. I've worked primarily in small to mid-sized companies where I've built the HR infrastructure from scratch. I've helped employees develop, leaders engage in the business. I've helped with various global projects as well and helped employees have a better experience. I've helped businesses make more money. I've specifically made an impact on employee engagement by making sure that employee engagement scores improved during engagement surveys and making sure that they have an excellent experience so they recommend the company as a great place to work. And I
Okay.
found that having that experience, goes a long way.
I love that. Two follow-up questions, Michelle, from that. So you're very big on impact. In our previous conversation, you also mentioned impact. Where does that stem from?
Impact stems from my experience as an HR leader by showing that by having good business acumen in HR and by understanding the employees you work with helps companies grow and make more profit. So by having those connections and building companies and relationships, you can make a significant impact.
I love that. You also mentioned that you took a lot of employee engagement surveys just to understand where they were coming from, and you're all about building successful teams. So how do you make sure you build successful teams, but how do you also make sure that when you build that team, you can constantly get feedback from them in a way that would be in alignment with what the company is trying to achieve in the long run?
Yeah, I always find that feedback loops are critical. Not just getting feedback from a survey, but also by having a good pulse of the organization, by walking around talking to people. When you build those relationships, just by having these informal conversations, you learn a lot about the business. And you can continue to grow things by getting employees involved, getting them engaged, getting leaders connected.
Okay, no, I think that's very important. I think feedback essentially, if you look at it from the right perspective, it can take you such a long way, especially if use that feedback in a way to improve yourself, because there's always room for improvement. So thank you so much for sharing that, Michelle. My next question, Michelle, for you would be is you've done a lot of work when it comes to women empowerment. You're a boss leader in the women's space itself. So I would love to understand what were some of the obstacles that you had to face through being a woman moving through the industry?
Yeah, what I found was many of the industries that I've worked in were primarily males, and there were very few women in leadership positions. So what I had to do was break down barriers and showing that women and people of all different backgrounds can contribute equally to the business, make an impact. And sometimes you had to work harder on your presentations, or it would take longer to build relationships. But finding that common ground and showing how you can contribute to the company's success has really made a big difference.
Okay, no, thank you for sharing that. And I mean, it did work. You've come such a long way. You're working with one of the biggest companies in the world. And I mean, hard work always goes a long way. So thank you for being an inspiration to so many women out there, Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle, my next question for you would be is Siemens is essentially known for diversity. It's known for DEI initiatives. So can you tell me a little more about some of the initiatives Siemens has taken to promote diversity, to promote a more inclusive culture?
We take it very seriously. And what we do is we take a look at our hiring. We make sure that we're in a lot of different places, that we engage with different folks from different cultures, different backgrounds, go to different schools. So we really spend a lot of time making sure that we're in the right places. And we also look internally as well. We want to grow our talents internally, and we take a look at diverse talent with women and people in different classes, protected classes, and making sure that we give everybody an equal opportunity based on their skills and qualifications. So taking that extra time to really engage with different people has really made a strong impact.
Okay, no, I think which was one of the reasons why I wanted to speak to someone from Siemens, and your profile definitely stood out because the work that you guys have done, bringing different cultures together, understanding that people are known or should be known for their skills rather than where they come from, is something that's very inspiring. So thank you for sharing that. A follow-up question, Michelle, was that you mentioned about the hiring process. What exactly is the hiring process like for Siemens? I know it varies from role to role, but can you give me an idea? Because I think a lot of companies had to go back and revamp their hiring process because the pandemic changed the way candidates look at companies. They wanted something fast. They wanted fast feedback. They wanted to move along the pipeline faster. So, what exactly about the Siemens hiring process is special that would want candidates to apply in the first place?
The process, I'll have to tell you, has been really focused and targeted. So we move candidates through the process very quickly. We have a talented talent acquisition team that makes sure that they're sourcing the right candidates and brings them to the hiring managers right away. And we're very quick with setting up interviews within a couple of days and bringing candidates in. And in some cases, we've made an offer on the same day that the candidate came in for an interview. So we move quickly for the right candidates. We know what the market is like. There's a lot of competition, but Siemens is a great place to work. And, we've won a lot of awards. People are engaged, and people want to join Siemens, but we also want to make sure that they have a great experience so that we continue to provide a wonderful place to work for our employees.
I love that. And I think, let me put you in the candidate experience. What drew you to the company in the first place, Michelle?
What attracted me to the company in the first place?
Yes.
The mission, technology with a purpose. I wanted to be at a global company where I could make a significant impact. And even though Siemens has best in class processes, I knew that with my background and expertise that I could make more of a contribution. And as the company moves towards more digitalization and our skills change over the years, that I can help contribute to that. So that made me very excited about joining the company.
Okay, I think a lot of candidates these days are looking for passion. They just don't want to go for the company. Like branding, of course, is very important. Salary is important, but I think people want to work for something that's bigger than themselves. They want to work for a purpose. They want to work for something that would make themselves feel good about themselves. And you definitely showed that. So thank you so much for sharing that, Michelle. Michelle, one last question, which is two questions actually, because I'm very curious to know more. So I think the first question would be, Michelle, is we've seen the economy changing. Some of the companies are laying off. Recently, Amazon gave the statistics of laying 11,000 people. What exactly is Siemens doing right? Because Siemens does not seem to be laying off people. Siemens seems to be stable in a very volatile market. So can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, part of it has to do with we're not just in one industry, we're in multiple industries, healthcare, energy. And Siemens is very strategic with making decisions with who they partner with, both as far as customers, and also they're very thoughtful with hiring people. We don't want to overhire people and then have to go through very thoughtful about budgets and the people and making sure that people stay in place. And it shows with our retention rates as well. Most people have been
Okay.
with the company a very long time.
I think retaining employees in this market is so hard. But I think when people believe in the mission, people believe in the values, people believe in the purpose of the company, that's when they want to stay because they're like, okay, this company definitely does care about me and I can make an impact, can make add value to it, which is why I think a lot of people decided to stay with Siemens. So thank you for sharing that. So, Michelle, let's wrap this question up. You've had such an amazing experience. You've made such a big impact. What is one piece of key advice you might have for women or people from minorities to stay strong when times get tough, especially during the job searching process?
The most important lesson that I've learned is to keep yourself marketable. There's no such thing as job security anymore. I think it's very important that women and men, that everybody in the job market keeps their skills up, continue to learn new things, be curious, be flexible, accept change, and then you're going to do great no matter where you're at.
Okay. Follow-up question. I think there's so many skills people can learn. Um, and there's so many resources that people can learn from. So how do people figure out what skills they should learn in order to be more attractive to potential companies that are hiring?
I think it's important to really understand your industry and see what skills are in demand. Digitalization, a lot of financial positions and even HR positions are moving towards digitalization. So it's very important to understand what are the marketable skills. And there's so many free resources. There's, LinkedIn Learning, Coursera, there's Google, things on the internet. So continue to keep your skills up and never stop learning.
Okay, well, Michelle, this wraps up our conversation. Thank you so much for coming on the show, for sharing what it's like to be a woman successful in the 21st century, about your journey, how you worked from small companies to mid sized companies, helped in building successful teams. And here you are working for a global team, making an impact and being an inspiration to so many women out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time. I enjoyed our conversation.